The power to create may all be in our favor. Heya, welcome to Creators Lightbulb. My name is Emblem, and today I'm joined with the marvelous Happytexans7.
You used my word.
Yes, because this is gonna be a thing from the start. We're gonna call you marvelous because that compliment is forever rooted within your series, and I don't regret anything about that.
Yes.
We hope to help you unlock your power to create by igniting your own light bulb through our conversations. We cannot wait for it to explode with whatever creativity you have in store. I hope you enjoy your time here, and let's begin, shall we? Happytexans7, introduce yourself.
Well, hello there. I'm Happytexans7. I am an online creator, I suppose. I do the Marvelous Adventures of Danny D. Comp, which is a mystery series about a dead rat and a froggy pal going on adventures. So
that's one way to put it. So, a major question I have about your series is basically, why did you start to do it? Like, what inspired you to make that series? Because, like, I've told many friends this before, and I've told you that, like, it's definitely different from stuff I've seen in the YouTube community series space. So why did you what sparks you so much about mystery? Why do you like it so much? And I don't take that as an insult, by the way.
No, I definitely do not. Yeah, for sure. I love mystery, obviously, because I'm writing one. But it's such an interesting genre, and to me, it's like really underrated. Like, there's not a lot of mystery stories out there that are particularly good, in my opinion. Like, I love Scooby-Doo to death, but I wouldn't call them mysteries, because you can pretty much solve it from the beginning of the episode. I like mysteries where you kind of follow the characters along, and as you're following the characters, they're discovering clues and you're discovering clues, and you're basically solving the mysteries with the characters. So those are the mysteries that I particularly like and I find interesting, because it's like, mysteries are, I don't know, they're so engaging and they make you think, and I just love that. Like, obviously, I'm a big fan of Danganronpa and Ace Attorney, and those are like really great because there's so many twists and turns, and it's you think it's going one way, but it's really going another way, and it's so interesting. And I was like, well, I haven't seen anybody that, like, I could be totally wrong. I haven't seen anybody do that on the animated series side of things.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And I was like, I want to try to do that. That was a mistake. Mystery's hard to write. I
mean, like, I'm gonna, like, put it that way. Like, mysteries are hard to write. You're doing it great. You're a great writer.
It's, when I say it's hard, I mean it's hard. Like, there's so many things that you have to think about that you didn't realize that you'd have to think about. Like, when I first drafted the first script, I didn't plan anything. I just was like, this person's the culprit, this person's the victim, you guys are the main characters, have fun. And that's not how you do it. That is not how you do it.
I mean, it was a start. It was a very vague start, but
yes. But it's like, you gotta have all your clues, you gotta have all your red herrings. Order of events is really important as well. There's just so many things that you have to think about when you're writing mystery that it's like, where do I do? So
yeah, you're like it's like being the historian of only one timeline that no one else gets to understand except you.
Exactly. Outlining is a godsend. Like, I think I have, because I'm planning case 2 right now, I have 3 outlines for case 2. I have the episode outlines, the killer outline, and then other character outlines that I can't talk about just yet. Because you have to make sure characters aren't in 2 places at once, or that your clues are where they're supposed to be, and obviously you need episode flow as well, and character balancing and all this other stuff. So you have to think about things that are like important to the overall story, and then also things that are tying into your mystery, and then you also have to make sure that it's not super obvious. So it's just a lot of things that you have to balance and think about.
Yeah, how do you keep track of all those timelines? Do you have like an idea or like some sort of method, like just use Google Docs or like some sort of website or app or anything? Because outlining is hard.
Outlining is very hard. I use a combination of like my actual sketchbook, like I actually make because I'm a
Ooh,
very visual person, obviously.
yeah.
And so I actually like draw out what the clues look like and like make those like cork boards that they make in like with the red string and stuff. I basically do
Yes.
that in my sketchbook.
Oh my
Uh
gosh.
yeah, so and then I write character profiles in my sketchbook as well, and then when it comes to like the actual organization of outlines and like actual writing, I put that on Google Doc. So that
Wow. I
that way I
want
can send it. Yeah.
my dream is just to have a cork board in my room. That'd be
Yes.
amazing. I'd love to have all that type of
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
have
So I
that.
put the outline on Google Docs and then I send the outline to my co-writer Ghost and he looks over it and he's like, "Oh, what if you did this?" And I'm like, "Sure."
What's it like having a co-writer? Like,
And
oh,
it's
Gus is amazing too, and so, like,
yes.
yeah, it must have been hard. Like, I mean, I think it's just hard in general writing a story alone. You always want that sort of like feedback or something. So, what's it like with
Mhm.
a co-writer?
So originally he wasn't a co-writer. He was just helping me edit scripts because I'm not the best with words. If you look at episode 1, I was like, please help me. So originally he was just looking over like my scripts because for case 1, I didn't tell him who it was for a solid like 3 months and he was also like my test dummy because I was trying to make sure the killer wasn't super obvious. And I'm like, okay, you read these scripts and outlines and you tell me who you think it is. And he came up with some of the weirdest theories I've ever had. I'm not gonna say what they are, but they were pretty weird. And eventually, I was like, okay, yeah, I need help tossing ideas around, so I'm gonna let you in on the scoop of what's happening. And so, uh, he definitely he proposes ideas for me. Uh he writes the majority of Danny's dialogue just because it's really hard for me to write I don't want to say like mean characters, but it's hard for me to be snarky. So I'm like, please help
Nabi.
me. Um so he takes care of that stuff. And then he also improvs a lot for Danny's dialogue as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
he just is
he's an
Danny.
amazing voice for Danny.
Oh,
Danny
absolutely.
is great. Like, I
Yes.
wouldn't imagine him any other way.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Now, speaking of Danny, let's talk about that dead rat story.
Oh,
That's a
yes.
good insert about that. This is great
Oh,
character inspiration. Dead animals.
you
Wonderful.
know,
My
as
friend
you
would be
do.
cringing so much.
Well, it all started when me and my family were taking a vacation to a different city in Texas. It's about like a couple of hours away from where I live. And we did this like every spring break. So we were driving up there, and unbeknownst to us, a rat had climbed into my grandfather's trunk and died in his golf bag. And so we had to stop and take out the rat, and it smelled so bad. It was so nasty. And so we had to deal with that smell all the way back to the thing. And so we went to dinner. We went to dinner that night, and I brought my sketchbook into the restaurant. And I didn't know what to draw. I was hitting a little bit of art block, and I asked my mom. I was like, "What should I draw?" And she's like, "You should draw the dead rat that died in our grandfather's trunk." And I was like, "Okay." So I did. I drew this really goofy looking dead rat that I spent like a good solid 8 seconds on. And my mom goes, "Oh, it's Danny." And I was like, perfect. The end.
Oh my gosh, a theory popped into my head. Does Danny's death involve anything with a car?
I'm just gonna be honest with you. No, that story has nothing to do with how Danny dies in the show.
No, no, dang! I thought I was going somewhere.
No. As much
Uh,
as I would love to have his origin story be that, it just does not fit with the way that I'm planning the actual surface world. So
uh, oh, wait. Are there cars in the surface world?
no, because there's no people.
Ooh, That's a great segue to our next topic, world building.
Something I definitely struggle with. I did not think about the world as much as I should have when planning this, because I was so hyper focused on the mystery part, I did not think about world building. And so I feel like things that I should have explained in episode 1 just weren't, like, what the hell is a calling alarm? I don't know. I didn't explain it, so just assume, I guess. And then I was kind of back-ended some of the world building, but now I've kind of built on it. Shameless plug in my Discord server if you want to go look at all of the world building I've done up till that point, and like how the sewer system is run, because I needed a certain character at the tippy top, because otherwise it would be weird.
Yeah, it's totally a unique world in my book. Why'd you think of sewer animals?
Mostly because of Danny, because I already had him as a rat, and I was like, well, where do rats live? Rats live in the sewer. Okay, we'll put them in the sewer. What other animals are in the sewer? Oh, mice, and I guess I literally just Googled rodents and made all my characters based on that. And then obviously I've got an amphibian and a snack.
The noodle.
Yes.
It drives on the Segway.
Yes. For Gracie, I legit thought ferrets were rodents for the longest time. I thought they were, and it wasn't until like I was. No, they're not. They're mustelids. He says it in episode 4. I keep forgetting the word.
What does it even?
I don't know, but they're cousins. They're cousins to weasels, which is why I made Poppy a weasel. And I was like, screw it, they're gonna be I don't care if that's not realistic. We're doing it anyway.
But like 99% of the population thinks that a ferret is a rodent, so
you're good. I mean, they look like raccoons, and raccoons are rodents, and I mean, raccoons are pretty big, but
yeah. Why did that made me lose my train of thought? Heck!
Curses!
Yes, we were talking about rodents and how the heck the Gracie is not a rodent, but right. So this is all gonna be edited just smoothly. Oh yes, here, let's get into this topic. Animation.
Oh yeah, that's a thing that I do.
Yeah. So you had Adobe Animate or Premiere or whatever the heck it's called, Flash. Yeah. Who cares anymore? Because
the Adobe package.
Because of the college you go to, right?
Yes. So the college I go to is really nice. It's not. It's pro tip for anybody out there who wants to animate. If you have a school email of any kind, Adobe gives you a really great discount on all Adobe products. It goes from like $90 a month, which, good God, who would pay that much? $90 a month to $20 a month. So it's still really expensive, but it's not as bad. As paying $90 a month. So yeah. Discount's nice. If you have a school email, use that.
You're majoring in art, right?
Yes.
If I'm correct?
Illustration and animation.
What do you hope to do with that?
Well, I'd love, obviously, to work for movies or television and stuff like that. But that's the big dream, obviously. But
ooh, that's amazing.
I know realistically how competitive that field is, and so I've got a couple of backup plans if that ends up like falling out. I'd probably go into marketing or ad agencies and stuff like that, and if not that, then probably go back to sports, because I know a lot about management there. So definitely would love to make art a part of my actual job, but I know how competitive the field is, and so I've got a lot of backup plans. Let's just say.
Yeah. Do you see your series ever becoming like a quote unquote real thing? And I'm saying it that way because it is a real thing and it's a great thing, but on like television, like, how do I say it? Like polished-ish?
Yeah. I mean, obviously that would be awesome, but I highly doubt it. Partly because of the way that I've marketed it. Because it's just like the things that I want to do and the way that it's presented many like animated kind of mystery, like many animated things are seen as childish, obviously, which is unfortunate. But and you know, I've got talking animals that are doing semi-anthropomorphic animals talking, and that's obviously more recognizable with kids rather than adults. But I've also got murder mystery in here, so it's just those things don't mix well, and so it's hard to market those kinds of things. So I honestly don't see it like getting any like other without having to have some major changes to what I want to do. I just don't see it anywhere else other than
animation TV
which
business
is fine because I like doing what I do.
Yeah. How do you have like the persistence or the guts to create a series on your own and animate everything and be so productive?
I don't know. I just really enjoy doing it. I love trying new things. I've definitely learned a lot, like a lot, since episode 1. I was like, when I first started this, it was originally going to be a comic, because I was like, I don't want to animate all that because that's going to be hard. But then I sat on it a bit more and I was like, you know, if I really do want to animate one day, I should probably figure out how to do it first. So this show was less about me, like at first it was less about me telling a story and more about me learning how to animate. But then I was like, oh, but this would be so cool. And so I was like, you know what? Let's make this a thing. And so I actually sat down and for the first time in Happy's at Life, not related to school, she did research.
Wow! Amazing! Never before seen.
Yes. Oh, the amount of research that I've done for this show.
Jeez.
I'm not on some kind of watch list for Case 2. I will be shook. The amount of the weird stuff that I've had to Google is, yeah.
Like what? Can you give us an example?
Not without spoiling it, unfortunately.
Oof, is there nothing like from the previous episodes? Like spoiler alert?
From the previous episodes, most of my research for Case 1 was, how do I do this? It was mostly like how to build a mystery plot, and one of the things that was really helpful, obviously other than outlining what the killer is doing, because when I had my original outline, I had the outline and then I would put in red what the killer is doing during this time, and all this other stuff. And so that was really helpful, a helpful tip. And then another thing that was really helpful was assigning your character, giving each character is a witness, right? And each witness needs to be hiding something. Otherwise, they're just going to come to the truth really fast. And if everyone needs to be hiding something, everyone has to have some kind of secret, which is mainly the point of this whole first case, is everybody has secrets. Whether those secrets are important to this case or a later case, or if they even get brought up in this case at all. Because I'll tell you right now, not everything is answered in this case. So lots of everyone's got to be hiding something, outline the crap out of it, and then also plan your clues and your red herrings first. Because once you have that set up, you can put them places and they can help either lead people astray or lead them towards the answer. And that's really helpful.
Yeah, like so every character is holding different secrets, just to different degrees too.
Yes.
I find that really interesting advice. Yes. Trust no one.
Trust no one. Everyone's hiding something.
Spoilers for episode 3? Where's the one that Scarlet debuts in? She
debuts in 2, but her episode is 3.
Alright, so 3. So, obviously murdering Jane is like, whoever murdered Jane is like, that's a big secret for the murderer to keep, obviously. And then
Yes.
you have Scarlet over here, whose secret is like, oh, it's diary, Randy, yeah, bro, gross, black, you cheated on me. So yeah, obviously it's like sort of to like different degree. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know about you, you can't really compare thinking that your boyfriend cheated on you to murdering someone, but that's
That seems
just
like
my
a
take.
logical step to me. This guy cheated on me. Cool, let's frame him for murder. You know?
Yeah, totally. Is there any so I know that Ace Attorney and Sherlock Holmes are big inspirations of mystery to you. Also, thanks for getting me into Ace Attorney.
Dude, it's so good. I love it.
It is so good. I listened to the soundtrack of the series with was the Great Ace Attorney 2. I listened to it
Yes.
like I was studying. It's so good.
Oh,
I love it
yeah.
so much.
Go play the Great Ace Attorney. If you're listening to this, go play it. It's a great game. Please, it needs more
Yeah.
love.
I wish I could get more into it, but I'm broke. And emulators kind of suck.
There's some pretty great, I don't know if you like commentary or not, there's a great commentary let's play by Nico B. He does a really good one. And then I think there's a couple of non-commentary, because I haven't played the game. I just watched somebody else play it because I don't have time to play games. I gotta animate. So
Yay.
I usually watch Let's Plays while I'm working because I like to listen to something other than music occasionally.
Like this podcast.
Exactly.
Everyone go stream. Everyone go stream it on your platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and listen to Happy and Me ramble. Mainly happy though.
Absolutely.
Finally.
That's all I do.
So yeah, about Ace Attorney and Sherlock Holmes. I just think and Danganronpa, but why can't I function? That's the name, right?
Yeah, it's all good. Danganronpa.
Yeah. Is there something in common between them beside the mystery factor that you really like, that you like put in your series?
I guess yes and no. I do take inspiration from all three heavily. Obviously Danny is very inspired by the Sherlock Holmes character with his super observy skill power thing. And then there are some other characters who are heavily inspired by Sherlock Holmes characters as well. Like Lynn is inspired by Inspector Lestrade. And another show that I actually take inspiration from is a show that I don't feel like a lot of people have heard of. It's called Psych. It's like Scooby-Doo and Sherlock had a baby, and it's not, I wouldn't, like, it's a mystery show, but it's the kind of Scooby-Doo mystery where it's not, like, super mystery-based. It's more of a comedy. But I just love the characters in that show so much, and a lot of Danny and Frank and Lynn and Gracie's kind of characters are based on some of the characters that are in that show. It's a great show.
So you just pull inspiration from all those shows.
Yeah, we take them and then we put them in a pot and then we snap our fingers and then you get TNT.
Put them in a blender.
Oh, and then turn them into sewer animals.
Yay!
Yay! And put them in hats because I thought that literally the only reason they wear hats is because I thought it was cute.
It is.
That's the
cute.
only reason.
You thought right.
I was like, aw. That's another reason why Frank exists too. Because Frank was not the original buddy of Danny. I went through like a couple iterations of it.
Oh my gosh, please tell.
Yeah, so originally it was about bugs. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it was about bugs, and we had Manny Maggot, who was Danny's compadre, who basically turned into James. Manny basically turned into James. He was very sophisticated and all that other jazz, but I just hated drawing him because he's a maggot, and I didn't want to draw that. So I was like, this sucks. Let's throw it in the trash. Then I kind of switched to, Mr. Kitty was Danny's next partner. But Mr. Kitty and Danny's characters are very similar in certain aspects. And they're both really smart. And I was like, well, if they're both really smart, then they're not going to have a chemistry or like back and forth kind of balance. And I'll say this, Mr. Kitty's pretty stoic. And so he doesn't show a lot of emotion. He does have emotions, but he doesn't show them a lot. And it just wouldn't be a good back and forth with him and Danny. And then I was like, oh, how cute would a frog be? I was like, frogs are so cute. Let's do a frog. And so I had like this one weird little sketch of Frank, and I was like, oh, it's Frank the Frog. And that is the reason he has his name. I was like, Frank the Frog, perfect, the end. And I was like, this is much better. And so and it kind of built off from there. I was like, I literally, half of the things that I do in the show is because I think they're cute. And I'm like, oh, what if the weasel wore a vest? That would be adorable.
I mean, definitely sets the dynamic straight for the series, so
exactly.
Yeah.
That's also by the reason I made Danny like cute things, because I was like, he likes cute things, because that would be cute.
So yeah, it's totally that dynamic, like it's murder mystery, but then you got sewer animals vibing in the sewer. That really, I think, holds the appeal to the show, because my friends can testify to this, but if I were to recommend any series from the YouTube community series like Space, it'd be yours. And I did. I linked episode 1 to our group chat. You're welcome.
I'm gonna sob. It's always just so weird to me when I hear people like what I'm doing, because it's like I do it for fun, and I did it like just as a way for me to learn, and then it's like seeing that people actually like what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't think I'd get this far. What is happening?
Yeah, because if you love what you're doing, other people are gonna love it too. That's a quote.
There you go. Mark that one down.
Heck yeah. I love being an accidental quote generator happens 24/7.
Embroider that and put it on your wall. It's perfect.
Yes. So, speaking of other people being inspired by you, how do you feel about fan art?
I sob every time. I never imagined ever getting fan art of a dead sewer rat. And every time somebody posts in the fan art section, I'm like, what is happening? Oh, it's so good.
MFK says hi.
Yes. Hi, MFK. I love you so much. I have an entire folder on my computer that's just fan art all down the wazoo, because I want to keep it forever and look at it. I call it my inspiration corner, because like anytime like I'm like stuck, I'll just go look at all the fan art, and I'm like, okay, so cool, adorable.
Let's do it. Yeah, because you fully realize the extent of fan art, that like when you go through that process of realizing that, well, this person watched my series, that's already a start. This person likes my series, that's another start. This person is willing to spend 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 hours working and appreciating my series. Huh?
What did I do? Control Z.
Just delete everything entirely.
Like, my heart like melts every time I see somebody draw one of my goofy little characters, because like, yeah, it's just so surreal. It's funny because my family's really into my show too, which is so sweet. They're so supportive.
I'm so glad about that.
Yeah, it's amazing. My dad texts me all the time. He's like I just recently posted the episode 5 preview, and he called me the other day and he's like, hey, I just watched your preview. It's looking good. And I was like, thanks, Dad. And I was back at home actually when I released episode 4. And my family comes into my room and they're like, hey, we're going to watch episode 4. Come join us in the TV room. And I was like, no. You're not going to watch this in front of me. And they're like, yeah, we are. And so, my dad's like, okay, here's the deal. You can either watch episode 4 with us right now, or you can hold off until tomorrow, and then if you wait till tomorrow, we're watching episodes 1 through 4. And I was like, okay, I'll join you in the TV room because I am not watching episode 1 again. I have vowed never to look at that episode again. So we watched episode 4 on the TV. My mother casted it on the TV. And I was like, what is happening? But the point of the story is that when we got to the credits and I do like the fan art features, she goes, "You get fan art?" And I was like, "I know, right?" And she's like, "That's amazing." And I'm like, "I know, right?"
I'm so happy for any creator when they get fan art, because it means that, like, yeah, they put effort into something that they care about, and then they care, and then it's crazy. Like when if you give. When Tranquil and you guys were giving fan art to me, I was like,
so your characters are freaking adorable. I'm like, I want to draw them.
I need to make rough sheets.
Yes, please.
This is a great segue to something I want to talk about. I mean, like, I want to talk about your old series.
Oh gosh.
We'll get to that. I'll get to that before we get to questions. So, your VA journey. I'm so excited to hear about this one because you're such a talented VA.
Oh, thanks.
Why did you decide to just delve into voice acting? Just one day, you're like, huh, I want to do this now.
I guess it kind of ties into how I got into the animation community in general, because I was, like many people, that I've noticed in this thing, was very inspired by Warrior Cats at one point in my life, and I stumbled upon SS Warrior Cats, or SSS Warrior Cats, and I was like, wait, normal people can make animations? Because at first I was I thought, like, to be fair, I was like 12, 13 at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, normal people can animate in their house? That's so cool. I want to do that. And then I saw, like, there was, like, some casting call thing, but it was already closed by this point, obviously. And I was 12. And I was like, well, I like to act. I want to try this. And so I think the first ever audition that I did was from a creator called Fluffy Love. Fluffy Love.
It sounds familiar.
Unknown Blood was her series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first one that I did, and I auditioned using my phone, like many people do, and and the quality was very bad, obviously, and I wasn't like a stellar actor or anything at that point. So that was like the first time that I really tried voice acting, and then I just went for audition after audition, and I got no parts for a really long time. I think like a year went by before I got my first part, which was a series that I actually met the voice actor of Frank, and Siri is going off because I just said the word Siri. But the very first animated series, please do not, okay, that I got in was a show called The Lost Hope, I think, ? Yeah, The Lost Hope. And that's how I met the voice actor of Frank, and that's how we became really good friends. Because he played the main character, and my character was like in love with his character and all that other jazz. And so that was like the first ever part that I got, and I was like freaking out because I was like, oh my god, it finally happened after a year. Yay! And then like the other big turning point for me was when I got into Wolf Moon, which is Wolfie Love series, who is the voice of Poppy in my show, and that's where I met the majority of my online friends. I roped Owl into it because I knew Owl before. I've known Owl since for a real long time. And that's kind of how Aurora Wind started, but we'll get to that. So Owl, so I dragged Owl and I was like, come on, audition for Wolf Moon with me. And so we both got into Wolf Moon together, and I was like, yes! It was great. And then that's how I met Wolfie, Nathan, Ghost, and then I dragged Silver into it too. I was like, Silver, come audition.
Oh, by the way, this is not me.
Oh yeah. Oh no, a different Silver. Silver Diesel.
Yeah,
yes.
Whenever
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Whenever Happy refers to a silver, it's not me.
Yes, I call this silver emblem.
Yeep.
There's a lot of silvers. Yes. So I dragged Silver Diesel, the voice of Frank, to come audition. And then I also got Ghost to come audition for Wolf Moon too. I knew Ghost. I met Ghost because this was the first time I was ever approached to voice a character, because I auditioned for his friend's show, and I think I got a part in that, but I think it was canceled before I had to do anything. But he heard his friend sent my audition to him, and he goes, cool, put her in the show. And I was like, cool. So that was the first time I was ever asked, hey, Happy, you want to be in a thing? And I was like freaking out. I was like, yes, I want to be in a thing, because obviously at that point I'd had like 3 parts. So I was like, I want to be in a thing. But yeah, like, with my voice acting journey, I definitely say to a lot of people is like, not getting a part is a part of the game. It's a part of the game. It sucks. You're gonna have some auditions that you're really proud of, and they're not gonna go anywhere, and it's gonna suck, because I have 50 plus auditions on my channel, and I typically do auditions via email now, just to stay more organized on my part. I don't like posting them on YouTube, because I like to keep my YouTube channel pretty clean. Instead of flooding it with auditions, because I audition for a lot of things.
Yeah. Looks at my channel.
Not throwing, because that's what your channel is about. I just don't want to do it on mine
it just helps fill watch time when I can finally freaking monetize my channel.
Yes.
Probably not though, because of all the copyrighted music, but whatever.
Bummer.
Obviously, I'm just like, everyone knows I'm just started like August, blah blah blah. I did end up getting the first part I auditioned for.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Young Happy would be very, very, very jealous.
Yeah, I don't understand either. I look back at that and I'm like,
what was the first thing you auditioned for?
It was a wild card. The thing is though, I was handed the part in the comments of my audition, so I'm like, regardless, anyway, it was still like really, it was amazing. It was really good.
Yeah, I gotta say, there's no greater feeling than seeing your name in a casting call results video.
Yeah, jeez. That will be me. That will be mine. My name will be in that casting call results. You're serious? I will. I'm so excited.
Hack into my video and just put your name in there. Yeah, I'm on to you.
I mean, you don't have to cast me if I don't fit anything. I'm just messing.
You don't have to cast me as you pull out a gun and say, "Please cast me."
Do it.
Cast me. I dare you.
Yes, I can't wait to have your voice talent on my show. I
can't believe wait, am I allowed? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, actually.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, okay. I can't believe I guessed what character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
I was like, oh, this character's cool. I want to draw them. And then you were like, funny story.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'll make it public if, like, someone has, like, a voice. Because, so far, I think you're the only one. I'm pretty sure. Like, if I'm not actively seeking for voices, but I'm at that point where, like, hey, if I hear it, I'll probably reach out.
Yeah, I'm the same kind of way where, like, I need to hear, like, I'm like, I think the only time there's only like 2 people that I've like a head cast, and that is Nathan. I've casted for a future character, and then CTS Austin, CTS Awesome, who auditioned for Lynn when I was recasting Lynn, and I heard his voice, and I was like, oh, dude, he's such a good actor, and I don't want to lose him. But he just doesn't fit Lynn, but he would totally fit this other character that doesn't show up till episode 6, but I always feel bad casting people early, because I feel bad just having them sit and wait and do nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So I approached him, I was like, hey, your voice is great, and I'd love to have you in the show, but it's not going to be for a while. Do you still want the part? And he was like, yes, and I was like, awesome! So it worked out. But I have to, like, hear it normally in order to.
Yeah, I'll still want some line testing from you. It won't be until
Yes.
such a long while because your
Right.
character doesn't appear until like episode 17.
I feel that on so many levels.
Yeah.
I'm a patient person.
Yeah, totally. Because something I noticed is that like I thought series can be a bit short, but also like it's like if they have like just 10 episodes, they're willing to do more seasons.
Yeah.
Like because even though in my retrospect the Dream Warrior is this 20 two episode series with with I planned it to be a movie finale. We'll see about it. Yeah, with a 2 sequel series and a prequel, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So but like that's a lot to handle, but then you have like different cases obviously, so there's shorter stories, but they're like different seasons. How many cases do you think you're
right now I have 4 planned. I could like extend it because my original plan was to have 5 cases with 5 episodes for each case. That did not work. Obviously I added case 1 stayed pretty true to that, except for episode 6 I added on, because if I ended episode 5 if I ended the season where I ended episode 5, you all would be very mad at me. So I added episode 6 as a sort of epilogue. But episode 5 is the finale, I would say. So I cut a case. Originally it was going to be 5 cases. Case 4 and 5 were the big 2, but I really like case 4, which is now case 3, so I cut case 3, and now we only have 4 cases because I want to get to case 3 faster, and case 2 is already really long because I actually ended up extending it to 10 episodes. So
oh my
went from 5 to 10 because case 2 is a lot more complicated.
Yeah, it's a big cast, right?
Big cast, lots of characters, lots of things are happening at once.
Can I say the case 2 name?
Yes, you can.
So, Cabin Wagon. What a great segue! We love amazing segues. Your old series. One of them being Cabin Wagon. You just turned everything into sewer animals.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. So which one do you want to talk about first? Cabin Wagon or that Aurora
there's
Wind
not
thing?
much to talk about Aurora Wind, so we can start with that one. Aurora Wind was not a thing. Mostly because there was no plot. It was Happy going, I want to make a series, but I have no ideas, so just throw a bunch of characters on there and call it a day. So it was, I honestly don't remember what it was about. I know it stemmed from a story idea that Owl and I had, who is the voice of Gracie. And that's all I know. I really don't remember anything about it.
You had like 2 intros. One of them said Aurora Wind, the other one said Aura Wind, and I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, because like I'm not the best with my words, obviously. It was always Aurora Wind, but I don't know how to spell. So it came out Aura Wind, and I'm like, I don't know what words are. So that was a typo. But like I said, there's not really much to talk about with that one. That was me just trying to animate again. But yeah,
that's just like some sort of lion was there. That's what I remember.
Yes,
it was an orange lion.
Zika. She was fun. A fun character for sure. But I called her our candy corn because she looked like a candy corn.
Oh my gosh, you're not wrong.
Yes. But yeah, so that one just stemmed from like a story idea that Owl and I had, and that was the end of that one. There's not much there, honestly. Cabin Wagon was a lot more thought out, though. I like to call Cabin Wagon my not Danganronpa fanfiction. Because it was heavily inspired by Danganronpa, but I wouldn't call it Danganronpa because it wasn't like, I mean, I guess it was like, 16 people are in a building and they're trapped and there's a killer and blah blah blah. But that one, I pretty much was gonna go through with it. It was gonna be a thing. I wish I had it all done on Procreate, all the art done on Procreate. The first episode was like completely, all the art was done. Like all the art was done for episode 1. I actually started working on the art for episode 2 before I graduated. And I had it all on my school iPad on Procreate.
No.
Yeah, the problem was that I didn't save any of it, and I had to turn the iPad, so all that stuff is gone. Unfortunately, I wish I saved it, but I no longer have it, unfortunately.
I feel like you have like some work in progress uploaded to YouTube.
I do. I have some old videos that are on there. Most of them, yeah, but the main reason it didn't become a thing is because I didn't get nobody auditioned. I had many characters. Most of the cast that was in the show was people that I still work with today, like Silver Diesel played the main guy, and Owl was also a character in the show, but yeah, a lot of them were just my friends that I already had, and that I was just like, please. But nobody else auditioned, so I was just like, oh well, I guess it won't be a thing. And then Danny came along and all that, and I was but I think Danny was a thing while I was working on Cabin Wagon. I know I definitely created him in like 2017. But I don't think Danny was a thing when I was making Cabin Wagon, because what's it called? Sorry, my brain just left my head.
No problem. None of this ever happened.
Yes. Because I started Cabin Wagon my freshman year of high school. And everybody has knife fingers because I didn't know how to draw hands. Or people. Or plan a show. I actually still have all of the outline information for it on my phone.
Oh gosh.
And like I still have all that information, and I was just very attached to my characters, and I didn't want it. I didn't want to let it go. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad it was a what's it called? It was a blessing in disguise that nobody auditioned, and I'm really glad that Cabin Wagon was pushed to the side and we now have TMA ODDC instead, because TMA ODDC is way better than Cabin Wagon. Cabin Wagon was
I completely agree with that. I don't even know Cabin Wagon that much.
It was a lot more murder, but like a lot less fun.
Okay, I think we got every main point covered, and now it's on to the questions. How exciting! Yay! Alright, so we have a lot here. We have 10, actually. You're probably more than that. I was actually pretty
surprised. I was like, aw, guys.
Yeah, they all are interested in you. I take that as a massive compliment.
Just sob uncontrollably. Oh wait, I gotta do the noise. Dapper always talks about the noise that I make whenever I get complimented. There you go. That's the noise.
Alright. Sprinkle says, we already told the DeRat story, so
yes.
Yes. That's confirmed. Gunnar says, how did you get into animation?
Yes. I got into animation, like I said, with SS Warrior Cats. I saw they were making animations, and they were like a team and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool! Like, normal people can make animation. I want to try that! So I gravitated towards Movie Maker and making things in MS Paint, like a lot of people start off doing, because obviously I didn't have like a program or anything, and I also didn't know how to draw at the time. I was just like, that's cool. So I just edited in Movie Maker and all that other jazz. Until my mother got me Toon Boom, like a really, really old version of Toon Boom, for Christmas one year. But I didn't have a drawing tablet, so I just would try to do it with my mouse. Yeah, that did not. That hurt. Don't draw with a mouse. I am always impressed when people say they draw with a mouse, because I'm like, how? How do you do? How? Couldn't be me. And then the next Christmas after that, I got my first drawing tablet, and I've been animating ever since and trying to figure out how to do it until my computer exploded at one point, and so I gravitated towards my iPad and did things on Procreate and Flip-a-Clip for a little bit. They were mostly just animations that like mostly walk cycles or jumping things, and I didn't really get back into animation until TMAO DDC episode 1 was the first time that I like seriously animated. So
Gunnar also says, what's your favorite TMAODD episode, or what are you most proud of?
Definitely episode 4. Like, even out of like the entire case as a whole, I just love episode 4. I think it's the most fun, and Randy and Lynn are my two favorite characters, which I think is a question later. But to answer your question now, just skip ahead. Lynn and Randy are like my two favorites for two completely different reasons. I just love Lynn. He's fun to animate, and I don't know what it is. I just really like mean, grumpy characters, and Lynn is a mean, grumpy character, and he's fun, and I love him. And then Randy's just a goober. Just because they're both so fun to animate. So definitely episode 4 is my favorite overall.
Yeah. Dapper says, my only question, why?
Well, as I said in the chat, why not? Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Got a problem? Do you want to fight about it? Let's go! 3 o'clock behind the gym. I'll lose, but I'll get in a few good punches.
Oh my god.
Just kidding. Please don't.
Jeez, I didn't know you could be violent. I'm scared.
No, I'm really not. I'm like I'm the least intimidating person you will ever meet. I am a tall, lanky beanpole stem of a human.
I agree to that in like the least offensive way possible.
Yes.
Savage Kiku asks, if you could change anything from TMAO DDC. Oh, I said that acronym smoothly. Whether it be a story plot or character art or designs or whatnot, why would it be and why? What would it be and why? So they're asking, if you could change anything, like from the series, what would it be?
I don't know. I definitely wish I could have reformatted Case 1, because there's a lot of things about Case 1 that I'm not happy with. I will say right now, like, there's not a lot that I can talk about, unfortunately, but I'm not happy with how many things rely on coincidences. There's a lot of coincidences in this case, and I wish they were a little bit better planned on my part. There's not like a set character design that I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could change that, because like the one thing that I was unhappy with, I was able to change because it was barely noticeable. Like, and that thing is James's lollipop. He didn't have it initially. He didn't have it initially. It wasn't a part of his character, and I was like, if this guy likes candy so much, it should probably be more present in his character. So I gave him a lollipop, and I love that. And my goal was to make it look like a cigarette, and I fooled a lot of people, and I was like, thank God, that was my goal.
I love the little adult implications just turned on its head to like a little child response.
Absolutely. As for other things I would change, I don't know. There was a point in time when I wanted to change Frank's character design. Mostly because I don't think he looks like a frog. He
laughs
did.
and thinking he was a turtle.
I honestly do not blame people for thinking that. He does not look like a frog. He does not have his eyes kind of in the upper part of his head like typical cartoon frogs do. And I was actually thinking about changing his design for episode 3 after I finished episode 2, but I was like, you know what? Nah. I'm just gonna stick with it, and I'm kind of glad I did because I feel like reformatting that would be a little bit jarring.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I've had some style changes in my show. Like, I went from having everything being super, super tiny for some reason to finally figuring out how proportions work. And then, obviously, they also used to have circle ears, and now they actually have ears. Which I actually made that change in the middle. Like, so episode 2 actually didn't take me as long as from episode 1 to episode 2 I think was like a 5-month gap, and it honestly didn't take me that long. It took me 3 months instead of 5 months. It was just I was so busy at college for the first half of that that I didn't get to work on the episode that much, unfortunately. But I went through like a massive style change during those 2 months. And so I was stuck with, well, do I keep the old style or go to the new one? And I decided to stick with the old one, at least for the rest of the episode, since I had already animated part of that. And I think that was a smart move, so that way that's why there's such a weird jump in quality between episode 2 and 3. The only character you can kind of see where I forgot about this is Lynn, because he was the first one that I added the actual ears for, because he was the last character that I animated for that episode. But yeah, those are like the only like changes that because most of the changes that I have been making, because there's a lot of case 2, 3, and 4 I have rough ideas for case 2 and for 3 and 4. Case 2 is nearing finalization, but case 2 has been through the waterworks, man. And like it's changed a lot. So luckily many of the changes that I wanted to make, I've been able to make them. So I haven't had too many things that I'm like, man, I really wish I could have done that differently. It's mostly just the formatting of the case that I really wish I could change. But
I think it's a
too late for that.
fear.
Yeah.
I think it's a big fear of like mine, especially like if I regret something, but I've already made it, so I can't really go back on that. Like if I think of an amazing plot point, but then episode 3 to like 1 to 10 is already out, but then I obviously can't work back on that.
Yeah.
They're out.
There's also a couple of things that I do wish I could change with this case, but I cannot talk about that because it confirms what things are not happening. So yeah, maybe one day I'll post it in the fun facts section, what I wish I had done. But
yes, Randy asked, you could tell the story about how you got your name, and then what your question is: are you still into soccer, or do you see yourself getting into soccer again, coach, player, anyway?
Yes. Well, as his question kind of implies, my name comes from the soccer team that I used to be on called the Texans. No, it is not because I'm from Texas, surprisingly. I used to play on a soccer team called the Texans, and I was number 7, and then I just stuck Happy on the front of it because why the hell not?
Positive vibes.
Exactly, the positive vibes. So that's how I got my name. Now with soccer, I still do a lot of, every now and then I still referee for soccer, and my mother works near the soccer association, so I do help out with some posters for them occasionally. But other than that, not really.
All right. Randy asks, the second question is, who is your inspiration for your art?
A lot. A lot of people are.
Well, we have almost all day.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Oh god, it's hard to like pinpoint. I just find things I like on the internet, and I'm like, I want to try that, and then I try it, and the end. Mostly cartoons. Like I like Gravity Falls was like a big inspiration for me. Sherlock, obviously, the Great Ace Attorney, huge inspiration. Obviously, I keep promoting it so much. It's such a good game.
It is.
And then animated YouTube series, people in general. Like, I think if you've made an animated series, I probably looked at it and be like, oh, I want to try that. And yeah, like, I take inspiration from a lot of different people, and yeah, I love seeing what people do with their art, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. I want to try that, and I just try. Yeah. I don't try to copy, obviously, but I try to put my own spin on it. Put it in a blender. Remember, kids. What was the quote? Good artists, blank artist copy, great artist steal. Whatever that quote is, I don't know.
Blah, 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 better. It's I mean, the main thing is like the people before us end up inspiring us the most, and then it creates this whole like chain effect of like this person was here, and then I'm here, but then this person is here, and then they're inspired by me, which was inspired by them, and then like blah blah blah. It's like it's weird.
Yeah, I think everyone's like art style is just a combination of other art styles that they've seen and appreciate, and I put it all in a blender.
This is Randy's last question. Is your love for musical theater tied in with your visual artistic pursuits, or are they kind of separate from each other? Separate as in they don't really inspire one another?
A bit of both. Obviously, I don't. If you've seen the show, Danny is very theatrical. He's got his little spotlight and his spin, and I love animating that stuff.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say that's more like musical theater inspired. Mostly my musical theater love goes to my voice acting, because the main reason I do voice acting is because I love theater and I love acting so much, and it's very weird. Like, I'm a very introverted person, but it's like the second I hit that stage, I'm like the most extroverted extrovert to ever extrovert. I'm up on the walls, I'm bouncing off things, like I'm crazy. Your typical theater kid, if you will. And I like to sing, as well, and
demonstrate. Demonstrate.
Oh god, I've been talking forever and my throat's kind of dry.
Demonstrate. I'm kidding. God. You don't have to if you don't want to.
I can do the Into the Woods song, the one that's really fast, really quick, because it's fast.
Oh my gosh.
But it is my fault. I was given those beans who persuaded me to trade away my cow for beans, and without those beans, there'd have been no stock to get up to the giants in the first place. Wait a minute, magic beans for a cow so old that you had to tell a lie to sell it, which you told where they were those beans, where they were first sold. Now tell us who persuaded you to steal that gold. So,
so fast.
I also talk really fast.
Let's ask, what's your favorite part of your series?
Danny. He's the one that started it all, and you know, he's a character, and I love him. He's a character in both senses of the word, and it's just like, he's changed so much. I think I told you, I've said before, he used to be mute.
So
he used to not talk, and Frank was gonna kind of talk for him, but I thought that would be annoying, so I cut it, and so now he does talk. And it's funny because he goes from mute to never shutting the hell up.
I would prefer the latter.
Yes. And
if he was mute, though, it'd be very interesting.
Yeah, my idea with that, and it's kind of graphic, was that this was kind of the inspiration for the holes in his tongue. Was like, oh, he's dead, so his tongue fell out, so he can't talk. So that was like what my so kind of weird. But that was kind of the inspiration for the character design with the holes in his tongue, which I just threw in there because I was like, I just want to kind of show that he's dead.
Swiss cheese tongue.
Yes, Swiss cheese tongue.
How would Frank, or whoever his partner in crime was at that time, how would they like interpret, like, that's such an interesting idea. I mean,
so originally, like, mute Danny, like, I didn't like, before, when it was just those two, I what's it called? I didn't really have a plan for what their relationship would be so much, but Frank is when I really started like visit. These two are the pairs. So I'm gonna hone in on their relationship a little bit more. So originally Frank was a lot more happy-go-lucky than he is in the current series. He's a lot more depressed right
depressed.
now. Yeah, I mean he's not like depressed. I mean his best friend died, so he's a little depressed.
Reasonable.
Because I've also said before, Jane used to be mean. She used to be a meanie bobini, and so Frank and her were like colleagues, but they weren't close. So he was a lot more happy-go-lucky in the original script, and he was originally going to give Danny the name Danny. He was like, "Oh, you're Danny, and you're dead, so you're also Danny DeCamp now." And Danny was like, "That's stupid." Like, but he couldn't like voice that because he's mute. So he was just kind of stuck with the name Danny at that point. So that was kind of how I saw that going about. Also, Frank was, I wouldn't say like Randy levels of dumb, but he wasn't as smart as he used to be, as he is now. Because he would kind of, my original plan was like, Dana would be trying to explain something to Frank, but since he's mute, he can't really explain what he's trying to get across. And so Frank kind of misinterprets what he's saying, and hijinks ensue. So that was kind of what I was going for, but I was like, I'm not really liking that so much, so I made it so that Danny could talk.
That'd be such an interesting concept, a weird dynamic too. I would see why that would be difficult.
Yeah, so we instead... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you could go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's kind of reverse of how it is today, or how it is now, where Frank was like really buddy with Danny initially, and Danny was like, ah! But now it's switched to where Danny's really buddy with Frank, and Frank's like, please stop following me.
We already answered Tranquil's question. Who's your favorite character? You could just say it briefly again.
Lenny boy. He's my
yay, grumpy boy,
fluffy, angry raccoon boy.
Was he always so grumpy?
Actually, yes. He didn't really change. He was always pretty much of a grump. His backstory changed a lot though, and his secret changed a lot.
Ooh.
But I can't talk about it, so.
Ooh. Just leave us in mystery. Leave us in the dark.
I can't talk about it yet. Soon I can talk about it. Soon.
Yay, soon. I believe
I can finally talk about it.
Venfae asks, how hard was it to decide which character is the murderer when you were in the planning stage? I know you likely won't say this in the podcast, but who is it still? But...
I'm not going to say who it is, obviously, but picking the killer was, I wouldn't say difficult, because I planned all the characters first, and then I was like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Not really. I did craft the killer. The killer was designed to be the killer, and the victim was designed to be the victim. So I thought about how their position and who they are and all this other stuff, and their motive and all this other stuff, and kind of built the character around that. So I guess it wasn't like too terribly difficult, because I wanted to think about how motive would tie in, and opportunity and all this other jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like hoping I'm not making it obvious by talking about this. I
think I'll just encourage people to dive deeper. Because it's not obvious. I don't think it'll be obvious if I looked at, like, if someone were to look at it.
That was my biggest fear going in, and that's the main reason I kept Ghost in the Dark for as long as I did, because I know all the clues, and I know what's important and what's a red herring, and to me, it's super obvious. Like, I'm like, man, everyone's gonna guess it, and all this other jazz, so I'm really glad people are split, because otherwise I would be like, oh man, they all got it, and all this other stuff. I'm like, everyone's theories are just 100% correct, but luckily that is not the case.
The case. I'm just
a fun master, and I don't even know that half the time. I mean, half my
Alright.
characters' names are puns.
Yes, beautiful. Like what?
Oh, Gracie Goodman, she's the good cop. Gracie, she's not graceful. Danny DeComp's pretty obvious, he's decomposing. Randy Fallen, he's the fall guy.
Oh,
Scarlett
I get it. Oh.
Scarlett Jones is mostly just a reference more than it is a pun. Scarlett to the Clue character Scarlett.
Mhm.
Jane Doe is the name of a unidentifiable corpse. And is that it? Oh, Poppy. Pop goes the weasel.
Oh yeah. Wait, I feel like I figured that out on my own. Did I?
I think you did.
I was so proud of that.
Yes.
That was my biggest achievements. I was like, guys, Pop, Poppy, Weasel. Ah!
Pop goes the weasel. She's also cooking. And then Lynn and James I just made up. Oh, Randy, the name Randy also comes from this like article that I read where like they called every character that was like kind of like a jock stereotype a Randy. Like that like I read this article and they called every time like this character that would like hit on all the girls and stuff, they called him a Randy, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take that. And so I called him Randy.
Fitting.
So that's how we got the name Randy. Which
we
has
have
now come a lot of confusion every time we talk about Randomonia, but I'm like, no, I mean the character.
Last question, because nothing happened during that duration. Mr. Teague asked, when did you first start animating?
I started animating around my freshman year of high school, whenever that was. I don't know years. But yeah, I started animating around my freshman year of high school. But like I said, my computer exploded at one point during that thing, so I didn't have a computer. I just had my thing. So I do like small animations, and you can find this on my channel. I think from like from years ago, called Animation Dump is the kind of stuff I was doing. I was just doing tiny little quick animations that took me like a couple of seconds at most. That I just do for fun. And then I really got back into it when I started episode 1 of TMAO DDC, which was near the end of my senior year of high school. I like started planning for case 1 around the middle of my senior year, and then I was like, okay, I'm finally doing this. I'm finally sitting down and I'm writing a script and I'm making an outline and we're doing this. This is gonna happen. And I animated throughout the entire summer and when I could, and then it released in December. It released the day after Christmas because apparently I was just too excited to wait until after Christmas.
It was a nice Christmas.
December 26th, yes.
So you basically just said, "Hey, we're going for it. Just go for it."
Yep.
Oof.
That's if I could give anyone advice on anything, it would be just jump into it. Like if you want to do something, do it. Like nothing's stopping you. Just like even if it's gonna take forever, like yes, it's going into it. You know, it's a process and it's gonna be difficult. And I knew that going into it, and I was like, well, I've been a part of projects before, and I know what it's like when people don't necessarily plan the best. Like I wanted to make sure that I was 100% committed before I casted anybody, because I did not want to get anybody involved until I knew I was involved.
That's why you storyboarded episode 1 first.
So I wrote the outline for the entire case first. I scripted episode 1 first. I storyboarded the whole episode, and then once the whole episode was storyboarded, I sent out the casting call. And then I told myself I wasn't going to close the casting call until I finished the intro. And then the intro took me a week. And I was like, okay, well, then I'll extend it.
Only a week?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. I was like, I thought that would take me longer.
Jeez.
Yeah,
amazing.
But then when I remade the intro, it only took me 3 days.
Oh my gosh!
You just find clever workarounds once you do this for a while, and you get more efficient and you get much faster. Because, like I said in my anniversary video, I used to sketch out every single mouth frame that I was going to do instead of just drawing it. And I'm like, oh my god, why did I do that? Like, that's probably part of the reason why episode 1 took so long, is because I did that. I'm like, you don't need to sketch out every mouth, just draw it.
It's funny how you give that advice, because a question that I plan to ask everybody when we're reaching the end of the podcast episode, to kind of like wrap everything up and to just represent the whole theme of this thing, is what advice would you give to aspiring YouTube creators or just creators in general? Basically kind of what you answered.
Yeah, I could add a little bit more to it. I would say like your story, like like I wouldn't say like you need to know every single detail before going in, because I don't have a solid plan for cases 3 and 4 yet. I have rough ideas, and rough ideas are fine. I would say that before you start thinking about casting anybody or making characters or anything, I would say make sure you know what characters you're gonna need. What at least have a script set up. Like I think that's the number one. Like, because if you have a script, then you'll know what characters you need. You'll know what you'll have something to give your actor, so they're not just sitting around doing nothing. And yeah, and you'll feel more you'll present yourself as organized, and you'll present yourself as more professional, and people will want to be a part of your project that way, because you know that you're committed at that point. It just helps attract. Like, I know I'm attracted to that when I see that people are committed to their projects. Because that makes me want to get involved, because I want to help.
Passion speaks volumes.
Exactly. So I would say make sure that you at least have some semblance of a script planned out, and then like I said before, if you want to do something, jump into it. Like, just get your hands dirty. You're gonna fail a lot. There's gonna be things you're not happy with. Everybody hates their first episode. You could reboot your first episode to death and you'll still not be happy with it. I've gone on record with how much I hate episode 1. Everybody knows how much I hate episode 1. So, like, but if I didn't start it, then I wouldn't be where I am now. So, like, I say,
here's the beauty of it.
Do it. Just make. There's a quote from like a TED talk that I saw. I was talking about filmmaking, and he's like, we have like so much equipment now and so much technology now. Like, if you want to make something, go do it. Nothing's stopping you. Just make your movie, make your show, make whatever the hell you want to make. Just jump into it. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to try new things. I'm trying new things all the time with my show. I'm like, oh, I want to try this camera angle, even if it doesn't look good. I tried it. Now I do the thing. I figured out how to do lighting in After Effects for Danny's weird show thing, and that was a pain in the butt, but hey, it turned out okay. So, like, I just say, just try, just jump into it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, it reminds me of one of my own quotes I put for the reminder of the day, where it says, a story with the aim to be perfect is left untold. Look, I was so proud of that quote.
No, it's a really great quote, because it's very true. Like, like if I said, I'm not 100% thrilled with some of the events that happen to make case 1 what it is. Obviously I can't go back and change it now, because I already have it all planned, and there's not much I can do to change it at this point. But like, if I didn't jump into it, then like it wouldn't exist. And you can edit for forever, and part of editing is knowing when to stop. Like, you can edit forever. You can keep editing always. But you have to know when it's like, okay, it's time to actually like do something. So
Yeah. That's why it's like people like it's still so surreal that I'm talking to like creators and stuff because that's like obviously you guys inspire me to do that and
Mhm.
it's coming to light slowly, but
Yes!
it's coming to light
Yes!
and people are excited and that's so humbling and flattering
Right?
and I don't know why. Like literally
It's
nothing
like
has come
it's
out,
such a
but
great feeling that people are at all interested in the things that you create. It's like I just did this because I thought it would be funny and cute, and like people actually vibe with it, and I'm like, oh, the people are interested in the things I'm interested in. Yay!
yay.
Because like I said, I created the show because like I love the mystery genre, and I think it's a really underrated genre because it is
Mhm.
so difficult to write. It's like I'm like, oh my god, if you want to make a mystery story, don't. I'm just kidding. Please do. Um, um just know it's hard. But like I wanted like more people to be interested in the mystery genre because it is so interesting. And like I'm so glad that people vibe with
Yeah.
what I'm doing, and it's
I
like
can
so humbling
confidently
and
say
so
I could confidently say you're fulfilling your purpose, so
oh, I'm so glad.
heck yeah. Yeah, it makes me interested, and it makes me admire so much more about the mystery genre and the work that goes into that. Like,
Oh yes, I have mad respect for anyone writing mystery now. Like if you say you're writing mystery, I'm like, okay, I respect you because like I now know how firsthand how hard it is because like going into it, you're like, oh, oh, okay, you got your killer and all this other stuff, and you got your clues, and it's probably not that hard. But then you're like, oh, but now you need to throw people off track, so you got to make red herrings, and then oh, you also got to throw in witness testimony at that point, and then once you have witness testimony, you got to think about all the other characters and make sure that they're hiding something because everyone's got to have a secret, otherwise the case is going to get solved in 82 seconds. So you got to think about that. And then you got to think about, oh, well, how's the killer going to act? Because they're probably going to be a little sketch, but you don't want it to be too obvious because if it's too obvious, people are going to guess right off the bat. So there's just so much that goes into it, like, that you don't realize that you have to think about.
I feel like I lost breath just listening to that.
I've had these thoughts for a long time.
Yeah, I can clearly tell, but
That's
I'm so
basically
happy
me
this.
with like planning case 2 right now. Is like I'm like, because now that Ghost knows who is the culprit of case 2, and so I can't get him to look over my my scripts. Or him to be my little test dummy. So I'm like, oh god, now I gotta make sure it's not obvious. So I'm getting somebody else to be my test dummy this time.
Yeah, if case one proves anything, it's like you could totally do it again, and it'll just only get better. So I'm completely excited for that.
Oh, I'm so glad. Like it's yeah, you definitely learn a lot after your first after your first rodeo.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking of saying that.
We're on the same
Oh my
wavelength.
gosh.
Oh yes, another tidbit I have is something that's at least helped me. I don't know if this is helpful for every kind of story out there. This might just be a me thing, but at least for me, giving myself a time limit for how many cases, or not how many cases, how many episodes are in each case was really helpful because I said, okay, there's going to be 5 episodes in each case, so this all these events have to happen in 5 episodes because I can't keep a secret. I'm really bad about that because I want to talk about it so bad. And I what's it called? And so I was like, okay, so this is gonna get wrapped up in 5 episodes. And obviously, once I got to the end of episode 5, I was like, I should probably add an extra one as like an epilogue because if I ended it there, people would be not happy with me. So I added an extra one. But I think giving yourself a time frame, like, and you don't have to be strict about it either. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I want all of this to happen in 20 episodes. I think that's really helpful to kind of like give yourself that kind of leeway and to how your story is going to flow, because I think it'll help with like character balancing, because that's an issue that I've definitely stumbled into
Oh
with case
yeah.
2 is character balancing. So my plan with case 2 is that if a character does not show up in an episode, they'll show up in the next episode is my goal. But obviously I'm not being very strict about it because sometimes I'm not gonna shoehorn a character in there if they don't need to be there.
Yeah.
But I think like planning out or like giving yourself that time frame is really helpful when it comes to planning a story.
Yeah, so leave it on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about like 20 minutes per episode.
Oh no, I thought episode 1 was going to be 5 minutes long and it ended up being 16. I don't know how to plan for time frames. I was like, yeah, like because you never know how fast or slow your actors are going to talk, and I have never been able to successfully predict how long an episode is going to be. I still don't know how long episode 5 is going to be because a certain character, I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
They have 3 pages of dialogue, and I am so sorry.
Oh gosh.
They were like, hey, is it okay if I get my lines a little bit later for you? And I'm like, that is totally fine. I do not blame you. I'm so sorry.
I love leaving off on a happy note.
Yes, always.
Let's get this thing wrapped up now, shall we? How long has it been? I think it's like almost 2 hours. Alright, so pretend there's gonna be like fancy music in the back, and then we're just all gonna
Hell yeah!
It all works out in the editing process.
In the fancy music.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Creators Lightbulb, hosted by Emblem and today's guest, Happytexans7. It was such an honor to spend this time with you, and I love learning about the marvelous adventures of Danny DeComp. I love saying it like that. I don't know why. It's weird.
The British. Yes.
Yes, I can't accent. Oh my gosh. I hope you also enjoyed our discussions, listener, and found yourself inspired. If you did, please stay alert for the next episode by following Creators Lightbulb on literally wherever you listen to podcasts. My Discord tag is GGSilverEmblem, #8226. My Instagram is @emblem_productions, and my YouTube is GGSilverEmblem. You want to plug your socials?
Sure. My YouTube channel is Happytexans7, and that is all I have.
All right, everybody. I think that's it. Well, I hope you have a good day, and remember to stay bright. There we go.
Jazzy.
Jazzy, yeah!